Hi, sea turtle people. I am Amalia Cano, biologist and editor from Fundación Coriácea and CASA MiNKA in Medellin, Colombia. My presentation is titled Fanzines on Sea Turtles. When I began studying sea turtles, I understood the importance of environmental education. However, I have observed that EE is used sometimes to label activities without clear objectives. This could be one of the reasons why, as the researcher Giuseppe Teresi mentions, EE is frequently and erroneously perceived as something cool, but not as the discipline that it is. Mataresi also said that EE has always been structuring and fundamental for the objectives of sea turtle conservation. The organizers of this workshop have discussed the need to do something to environmental education stop being a marginal topic in sea turtle research and also to its importance begins to be recognized in conservation programs of this species. Environmental education is a discipline of interest to professionals from different areas of knowledge, so it is important to constantly review the basis and origins of this discipline. This presentation does not intend to go through the history of EE. That exercise is up to each one. I just want to encourage you to do so. I'm sure this will have a positive effect on your projects. I also want to invite you to review the series that Giuseppe Teresi shared with us on YouTube, where he summarizes two major themes: theoretical issues and methodological dimension of EE. Also points out the importance of establish what type of EE we work with because these determine the methodologies to use. Moreover, he offers several examples, one of them on art environmental education, a subfield academically recognized into the discipline. I am mentioning all this because the usefulness and effectiveness of the tool that we are going to propose depend if your project is or not structured. In the case of Fundación Coriácea and Casa MiNKA, we are in an exploring phase of the fanzine as a tool. The term fanzine is a combination of the words fan and magazine. The word zine is also used. A fanzine is a self-published publication, generally amateur, that means non-professional. It is produced by followers of a particular phenomenon or topic for the enjoyment of other people who have similar interests. It is an independent publication that anyone can produce, not susceptible to censorship, and does not respond to political or commercial criteria. The fanzine allows total creative and thematic freedom, and it makes sense when it's reproduced and shared. This is an example of a fanzine. It has a cover and several pages. The history of the fanzine begins in the United States during the 1920s and 30s with the publication made by science fiction fans. The first fanzine was The Comet. A boom of science fiction fanzines occurred in the 40s, and Ross Chevenet proposed the term. During the 1950s, popular fanzines emerged about folk music and underground comics. In 1967, the first Star Trek fanzine was published. During the 70s and 80s, punk and the do it yourself movement appropriated fanzines and popularized them thanks to the appearance of photocopy shops. Already in the 80s, political and activist fanzines began to appear, and between the 90s and 2000s, these were widely distributed. Today, fanzines have seen a resurgence in popularity. Now there are fanzines festivals, libraries that collect them, and bookstores that sell them. The fanzine is very important in subcultural movement and the underground press for marginalized voices, and it is still a great tool for building communities without intermediaries. We have coordinated two exploratory activities with fanzines. Belén Parque's This Tale is Our History, activity developed by Casa MiNKA in 2021. It was a virtual six-session workshop to think about the urban parks of Belén, a neighborhood in Medellin, and their importance in culture and life. Through the fanzines, remembrance, identity, and critical reflection were promoted. You can check the videos on the Casa MiNKA fan page. Fanzines on Sea Turtles, activity developed by CASA, MiNKA, and Fundación Coriácea in March 2024. This mini workshop was held in Medellin with the objective of providing people inside the country with basic information about sea turtles to reflect on the impact of our actions on the life cycle of these migratory animals. First, we made an introduction to the fanzine and filed a one-page fanzine. You can try to. You just have to scan this QR code on your right or follow the instructions in the mini scene page that Georgina probably gave you. Okay, returning to the Medellin mini workshop, each participant was then randomly assigned a sea turtle species to explore about it. Together, we tell a story inspired by the life cycle of sea turtles. Then, each participant created their fanzine telling the story about their assigned species. The workshop ended with the reproduction and sharing of the works so that each participant had a fanzine collection of the meeting. Some notes we have taken so far. 1. Recently, fanzines are being used by schools, universities, NGOs, and community initiatives as a teaching tool. Two more examples of EE activities with fanzines can be found in the bibliography. University of Nebraska, Omaha from United States, and Endemic Magazine from Chile. 2. Fanzines empower people. Through them, it is possible to appropriate knowledge and find new ways to explore, explain, and apply ideas. 3. The complete freedom they offer make them a highly creative and personalized way to explore, criticize, and reflect, which is precisely what EE seeks. 4. The fanzine creation process is an opportunity to find and seek connections between previous knowledge and experiences. 5. Because the creator has complete autonomy over them, fanzines offer a sense of subversion and ownership that other more institutionalized publications do not provide. This characteristic is interesting when we position ourselves from a critical, emancipatory, transformative, libertarian, and revolutionary perspective of environmental education. 6. The creation of fanzines encourage multimodal composition, transdisciplinary exploration, and participatory culture in the creation of works that seek to draw attention to what is meaningful to their creators, which is why fanzines are a fun way to encourage environmental storytelling. 7. You only need a pencil and paper to make fanzines, making them an ideal tool for geographic areas where technological resources are limited, such as remote beaches, where fanzines are also useful because they place people in their own context, encouraging its creator to think deeply about the implications of what they are learning. The above strengthens our ideas that the fanzines has great potential as a tool for the execution of EE for the conservation of sea turtles. Remember that it is essential to first carry out a dedicated project approach according to the type of EE from which you are going to work, and also should be defined the community, the territory, and the most appropriate methodology, and of course to define the objective and the way in which the results will be evaluated. After this, we propose using fanzines in two ways. First, as a tool in projects that encourage critical reflection and the transformation of empowered local communities. Second, we believe that fanzines are a valuable means of communication for the environmental educators. We invite you to create your own fanzines that contribute to the strengthening of collectives such as Reatoma, the environmental education network with sea turtles. I would like Reatoma members become fanzinesters and exchange their fanzines in the annual symposium. It will be a wonderful collection and a very interesting research creation contribution. I hope this bibliography helped you at some point. Thank you for your time. I want to acknowledge to CASA MiNKA and the fanzine makers who participated in the workshops. To Carlos Puentes for helping me organize the ideas for this talk, to Jack Frazier for his generosity in taking the time to review early versions of this presentation, to the organizers of the 42nd ISTS, to Rea Toma, and to the other organizers of this workshop, Georgina, Diana, and Antonio, as well as the organizations, Adjot from Mexico, Escuela Biodiversidad and Sea Turtle Conservancy from Costa Rica, and Fundación Tortugas and Fundación Coriácea from Colombia. Please send me your questions and comments in the form accessible in the QR code to your left, and contact us through any of these channels. Finally, allow me to make a brief advertisement, inviting you to scan this other QR code to your right, in which you can request information about the collection of handmade felt sea turtles that are used to learn to identify the species. Goodbye and thank you very much. Enjoy Thailand.